welcome to my dog coloring channel, Colorful Tamiko. I am Tamiko. This tutorial is going to be part of a How I Color a Flower series. I know that a lot of beginner colorists don't know where to start or how to go about coloring flowers. I wanted to help you guys by doing a series of a few short videos with me coloring a flower and giving you guys ideas on how to go about tackling coloring a flower in a coloring book. These tutorials will be quick and short, but also informative. Remember, if you like these type of tutorials, please give it a thumbs up so that I know what kind of videos to bring to you guys in the near future. If you want to see more dog coloring tutorials like this, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribing really helps in supporting my channel and getting it in front of as many adult coloring YouTubers as possible. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I upload more dog coloring videos. Now let's have some fun and get into this tutorial. I'm going to be coloring a flower in the World of Flowers by Johanna Basford. And I'll just turn to the page that I'll be coloring. The flower page again. And the flower that I'm going to color is going to be this one down here. And I'll just zoom in so you guys can see better. But first, let me let you know what the color palette is that I'm using. I'm using my Brutfuner's budget pencils, and they have Chinese names on them, so I don't know what the names of the colors are, but I have the numbers here, and the numbers I'll be using is 006, 004, which is like an orange. The last one was like an orange. The first one was like an orangey red. The 006 is like an orangey red. So if you're following along, you can get a pencil that looks kind of orangey red. The third pencil is like a yellow orange. Well, more yellow. It's not. It doesn't really have orange in it. It's 002. Then I have my green palette, which is a dark green, which is 081, and a lighter green, which is 045, and then I have like a brownish reddish color, a brown color, which is 021. These are the square Brutfuners, the 120 set. And now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see the flower that I'm coloring. So now I'm zoomed in. Let me see if I can get this to look a little better than that. So I'm going to start on the petals. So we're going to start in the inside here where the petals are, and then we're going to work our way out, and then we'll work on the middle part of the flower. And then once we do the middle part, we'll do the stems and do the leaves, and then we'll do a small background to it. And so I'm going to start with the dark orange color, which is the 006. No, actually I'm going to start with the light, the yellow color, which is 002. And I want to put that right here, right where these lines are, right here. And the Brutfuners, I like them. They're a budget pencil. They cost around $30. I think it was $30. Don't quote me on that price, but I think it was around there. I didn't check and see what they're running for today. But I like them as a budget pencil. I think I like the Artisas better. But these are not bad. The colors are really bright and intense colors. As you can see, look at that yellow. They're square, which I also like because they feel comfortable inside the hand. Another thing about the square is that I'm just doing hard pressure and then I'm going light pressure as I go out. The thing about the square is that's great about them is that when I'm coloring on camera, they don't roll off the table because they're square. And so I'm just going all the way around those petals with this color. And I'm using hard pressure and light pressure as I go out, and I'm stopping about midway. But they can't roll because they're square, so that's a good thing about it when I'm using them on camera, or if you're using them on a table. If you're coloring spaces on a table, you know about pencils rolling once you set them down. What else can I say about them? They blend okay. Depends on what color you're using, I think. But they blend okay. They're supposed to be compared to these are oil-based pencils. So they would be compared to the polychromos. And the polychromos is oil-based too. So usually when I do a flower, I don't look up a flower to see what it looks like, how it looks, realistically. But today I did that because I just wanted to see. I have an idea, of what it looks like, but I still wanted to see what the middle part looked like, and I noticed I wanted the middle part to be kind of dark. But that's how they look in real life. So that was the way I was going to do it, but I just wanted to check. But normally, when I color a flower, I don't check and look them up. And I don't know flowers that well. I don't know, what flowers are what. I couldn't tell you that. I'm not a flower genius. I just like to color them. So I usually choose colors of what I think looks good on that flower. I don't go by what they look like in real life. So some people like to look up flowers and make them look just like they look in real life. But I'm not that type of colorist. I like to use my imagination. And so I'm just going all around and using hard pressure and then going out light pressure as I go out, because I'm going to introduce another color on the tip. And so this is the last of that color. So I'm going to move on to the next color. And this flower, I picked a pretty simple palette for this flower. The next one is the 004, and it's the orange color. So that's the only thing I don't like about these, is that they should put the name on them. Like I said, the name is on them. It's just in Chinese. I think I'm going to research and see if I can find the translation. So I'm going hard pressure here, and then I'm going out up into the yellow, and you want to bring that orange all the way up into that yellow and go lighter pressure as you get up into the yellow. And so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go hard pressure at the tip and then go lighter pressure as I get up into the yellow. And you're just going to do that all the way around the flower. So the thing about these is they're a hard core pencil, which means that their lead is hard, not soft core. So you don't really have to press hard for these to lay down color. And you still get a nice intense color. And I'm just going all the way around. So when I say hard pressure with these, I don't really have to press too hard. And you want to make sure you scrumble when you get down in here, because you want that orange to mix into that yellow quite well. And that's how you get it to mix in well, is by scrumbling. So if you notice up here, I kind of go zigzag, and then when I get into the yellow, I do scrumbling. And I'm just going to darken that one up a little more. And this flower is like tiny. So the colors that I chose for this palette is colors that I thought would make the flower pop. So I chose a lot of contrasting colors, if you notice. I didn't choose like instead of yellow orange, I just chose yellow because I wanted the yellow to pop from the orange. I wanted for it to be a good contrast. If I would have chose an orange yellow, it wouldn't have been such a drastic contrast as it is. And so I'm just adding that color around the flower into the petal, and I'm just going to do that all the way around. So I probably won't talk as much right here. And I'm going to go over it again with another layer, just so I can make sure it's intense and that I have a good layer down. So this is just going to be the first layer. I just want to get some color on the paper in the first layer. So don't worry if you don't get an intense color in the first layer. You always can go back and add layers. Remember, you always can add layers. And that's why you go layer by layer instead of just going in really pressing really hard. If you press too hard, you're going to wear out the tooth of your paper, and then you're not able to add another layer. It's easier to add layers than it is to take the layers away. It's just like cooking. It's easier when you cook, it's easier to add salt than it is to take the salt out. So if you think of it that way, you understand what I'm saying. That you can always add more color, but you can't take the color away. So if I want to add another layer with a different color on top, I still have some tooth of the paper left to be able to do that. So you don't want to just use all the tooth of the paper in your first layer. And for those who don't know what I mean when I say about the tooth of the paper, in my blending video, I described what the tooth of the paper is and all of that. And I will link that to this video if you missed that video. So now I'm just going back. I'm going to go back and add another layer to the orange. And I'm just going medium pressure until I get to the yellow part. And then I let up on the pressure. So I'm just adding that second layer. And another thing, I'm a heavy-handed colorist. You have your light-handed colorist and you have your heavy-handed colorist. You'll realize what you are when you start coloring. So it took me a while to learn how to do light pressure because I'm heavy-handed. And at first I was just going in heavy-handed with everything and was wondering why it was not looking like it was blended. It's because I was going in too heavy and the tooth of my paper was wearing out really fast. So I had to teach myself how to go light-handed. But I'm still what you consider a heavy-handed colorist. Like, you'll see some people colorings and their colorings are really light. Mine's just never light. I like mine's really vibrant. That's just how I like mine. Some people don't like theirs that way. So again, I'm just going over the tips of the oranges and giving it a second layer. And then I'm going to take the yellow again and go over the orange and the yellow just so I know it's blended. So I'm going to go back to my yellow and I'm just going to scrumble lightly where my blend line is where I want to scrumble it. Right where you see your blend line. If you see a blend line, this is how you get your line to disappear. It's by scrumbling over that line with your lightest color. And that just helps blend it in. And I'm just blending that all in. And I'm going to do that to all of them. Make sure I have enough layer in there. And make sure it's all blended in there. And there's not a heavy blend line. And so that's how you make the blend line disappear. See how much better that looks now? There's not a blend line there to see anymore. See how there's a little bit of blend line here? Now I'm going to scrumble on top of it and blend it together. And that blend line is going to kind of disappear. And now it's going to be a seamless blend. And that's what you strive for when you're coloring is to get a seamless blend. So you just go back over it with your light color, and you don't press hard, you just scrumble like medium pressure. You don't want to press too light, but you don't want to press too hard. And you just go over that blend line until it disappears. Now your blender pencil will also help you blend it together too, but I like to do this first before I take my blender pencil to the flower. I like to try to blend out that blend line first. And it takes a little bit of time, but it looks better. So coloring takes a lot of patience, but just doing this is very relaxing to me. And that's why coloring is relaxing, because you're not thinking about anything but what you're doing. It's not supposed to be stressful. So if you take your time with it and not try to rush it, you'll enjoy it more. If you try to rush it, you're not going to enjoy it, because you're just trying to hurry up and get through it. I know when everybody colors, you want to see the end result, but take your time and get to the end. And I promise you, your coloring will look much better if you take your time on it. And that's another thing, I'm a slow colorist. I take my time. Some people color faster than others, but I like to take my time and just make sure I get the end result that I want to get. Okay, so now I think that blend line looks so much better on each of them. So now I'm going to move on to the next color. Except this one right here. Looks like I have a really deep blend line right there. So I'm going to try to fix that one. I might have to take the blender pencil to it. There. So now I'm going to go to the next color, which is the reddish light color. It's like a reddish orange, and it's 006. And I'm going to just take that color and put it on these tips right here. And what that red does is really make that flower just pop right off the page, because it's such a contrast. And that's, instead of using an orange, that's why I used the orange red. And you'll see what I'm talking about once it's done, why I use that color instead of an orange. Because the orange would have just the orange would have just blended in with the orange tips of this part. But by using the red, it really makes the flower pop by using a reddish orange. So this, you're just going in with medium pressure. You don't have to let up on the pressure. You just fill that in. And you do that all the way around. And you eventually, after following along in videos and learning techniques for flowers and anything else you learn techniques for, you'll eventually get your own style of coloring, and you'll eventually have your own way of doing things, but you'll still be using the same techniques. And you'll also be able to pick out colors better by just following along with the videos. You'll be able to start seeing it yourself. Another thing about these pencils is that they're really good with getting into small areas, because they keep the lead the lead will stay sharpened longer because it's a hardcore pencil, so you don't have to sharpen it as much, I noticed. But if you look at it, look how bright the colors are. I mean, the colors are really bright and pretty. Okay, so I got that orange red down. Now we're going to work on the center of the flower. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this yellow and I'm going to go around the outer circle of here, the inner circle. I'm going to go around the inner circle. Just right around it. Until I have like a little circle in the middle. Then I'm going to take the orange color, which is my 004, and I'm just going to lay some of that orange down in the center of that yellow, and you're just going to blend it out a little bit. So you're going to go hard pressure in the middle, then light pressure as you get out to the yellow. Like that. Now I'm going to take my blender pencil and try to blend everything together. Blend the petals together without shaking my camera. It's very hard to do. And I'm just going to do that to all the petals. And this just adds that shine to it and blends the colors together and presses the colors into the tooth of the paper. So you always do this when you're done putting all the color down, because after you do the blending pencil, it's hard to lay down more color. Sometimes you can lay down more color and a lot of times you can't. So that's why you want to make sure you're done doing everything before you blend it together. So I'm just going around the outer leaves and blending those together. Now those are blended together. So now for the middle part. For the middle part, this is what I wanted to look at when I looked up the flower. And I noticed that the middle part was dark. But this pencil said, I don't want to use black because I just didn't want to use black. I just didn't think black would go well with these colors. So what I wanted to do was use like a brown. So I chose this brown, which is 021. And I'm just going to add this brown to the outer of these. So I'm just going to add it around. And you're just going to go medium pressure all the way around the middle. Of the flower. And so I also wanted it to be like a orangey kind of brown, because that's usually how I picture it. It's like an orangey kind of brown. So that's why I'm just laying a light layer of this down. And I'm doing the second row. You don't want to go hard. You just want to go light layer around. Just doing a light layer of the brown around. So I left that part right there open. And I'm going to put some yellow right there. So the part that I left open, I'm going to put some yellow right around there. And here you can go hard pressure. And so now I'm going to add some orange to the brown part. And I'm going to use the 004. So that's why I only put like a light layer of brown. I'm going to mix those colors together. So I'm going to just scrumble in small circles. It's scrumbling. And I'm just going to scrumble that orange into that brown. And you're going to do that all the way up into the yellow that you're not going to touch the yellow. You're just going to do it up to the yellow. You're going to leave that yellow right there in the middle. And so when you put this orange on, you want to go hard pressure. So I'm just making sure I added enough layer. I'm going around a second time. So now it's like an orangey brown, because I didn't have an orangey brown, but that's the color that I wanted it to be, an orangey brown. And so now I'm going to blend it all together. But first, I see where I put this orange is not dark enough, so I'm just going to add a little more in there, just a little. So now I'm going to blend it all together. Don't touch the yellow part, just the orangey brown part is the part that you want to blend. You don't want to blend that brown into the yellow. And now I'm going to blend this part right here in the middle. And so it's coming together. So now we have to do the leaves. And I'm going to smooth that up a little bit. And the palette for the green, I'll tell you again, is a dark green and a lighter green. And it's 081. And I'm just going to take the dark green and on this side, I'm not going to go up the whole flower. I'm just going to go on one side of the stem. So I'm going to leave some open for the other color. And it's hard for me to do it from this angle. See how I left a little bit open for another color. Then I'm going to go to the next color and just add it on the side of here, because I always want to add more than one color with my stems and my leaves. Leaves look better when you add more than one color. So I'm using two colors. And I'm going to take that same light green, which is 045. Yes, 045. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the dark green. And I'm going to color along this where these lines are. So you just want to color along the lines. And you're going to leave the outer part open. So then I'm going to do the other side. And I'm just going along the lines like I'm acting like there's lines over here too. I'm just pretending. And I'm going to bring it down into the stem. Then I'm going to do the other side that way. I'm just going to bring it along the lines. So you just want to follow along those lines. And now I'm going to do the other side. And that's going to be hard to do from here. But I'm just going to act like there's still lines over there. And you're going to bring it out some, just a little bit. Just like that. And now I'm going to take the lighter green, which is the 045, and I'm going to put it on the outer edge. And I'm just going to bring that from the outer edge in. You just want to bring it in. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Just bring it in. Bring it up into the other color. Oh, I forgot to put the green part down here. So I'm taking that dark color and putting it down here, because I forgot it. So now I'm going back to the light color and then bringing it all the way around. And you bring it right up into the other color. So I'm just kind of like doing lines right up into the other color. So I'm going to do this side just a little bit more right here. There. And so now, oops. Now I'm just going to blend that together. And I kind of want to go the same way I went with the pencil. Because I don't want the two colors really to mix. I want the green to stay green on the outside and the dark green to be green on the inside. So I'm trying not to mix those colors together. So that's why I'm blending it the way that I put it on there. There. So now we've done that, I was thinking I was just going to put some yellow in the back. But first I'm going to add some gel pen. I have a glitter gel pen here. And I'm just going to add that where the yellow is around the outside, so it can have some sparkle to it. And I like to add sparkle to the stuff, if you haven't noticed yet. Sparkle just makes the flowers pop, but if you don't have any, that's fine. It doesn't have to have it. And now I'm going to take my white Uniball Signal white pen. And I'm just going to add some white to it. And I'm going to add a little white here on the leaves. And this just helps it, just give it some fanciness to it. And I'm going to add a little bit right here. maybe a little bit along here. I don't want to put too much. So when you put too much, it doesn't look as good. There. So now I'm just going to add some yellow to the background. And I'm going to use the same pencils. It's just a really light yellow. And it's a 049. And I'm just going to add a little of that to the background. And try not to touch any of that because it's not dry yet. So just give the flower some glow. Make it look like the sun is shining on it. And I'm just adding that around the flower. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera because it's a very light yellow. Just giving that flower like an outline. And this is just a very simple way to do a background if you've colored something small. Or if you want to add a background, you could just add a very light color that's in the same color palette. To the picture. And I'm just tracing around it basically. And I'm just going around it. And it's a very light yellow. And so it kind of looks like the sun is shining in on the flower. And so you could do the whole box that way, or you can just do around the flower like I just did. But I'm just going to leave it that way for now. And that is my flower and my tutorial on how to color a flower. So this is how our flower looks. So let me zoom out so you guys can see how it looks zoomed out. And this is how we're looking. So this is how our flower look. I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can see it. This is going to be the end of my flower tutorial. So thanks for joining me, you guys, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell button, and have a colorful day. Bye.